Welcome to Crackhead's Daughter. Tonight I have the honor, the privilege of having my husband on. Kind of decided that for the first podcast, maybe, possibly, the person that knows me probably the best should join and just kind of talk about how we got here, why we're here, what we're doing here, the plan is, how God has kind of had his hand all up in this and made sure that this happened.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
And I'm glad you have me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have you.
And it's too soon.
You do have a name. Your name is Rodney.
Yeah, thank you.
He's not just my husband.
Yeah. Not just him.
Not just him.
But Rodney.
Not just that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, babe, so you're here. And I guess, if you will, just allow me to ask a couple of questions, kind of feel through exactly, like I said, what this is all about.
I think they would love that.
Yeah.
Now, you're at 100,000 followership?
Almost.
Okay. All right, cool. I can put you at 100,001.
While this is being recorded, we're at 0. So this is ground zero.
It feels like it's already taken off, though.
Yeah, and why? Why is that?
Just because the momentum for this has been building for a while now. I have heard about this from your spirit and heard about the concept of this without it even being called a podcast. But I've heard about this out of your spirit for a couple of years now. And I could, if I were to write how many episodes came out of your heart.
At 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m. and 4 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, in the morning, this podcast would have probably 100 episodes at this point. All different takes on what your life has been and the journey of your life from childhood until now. And so the dynamic, the dichotomy between being raised in the environment that you were raised in, with the addiction being a big part of that.
Of my father,
to where you are now, and we'll get into that, right? To where you are now is very fascinating because it's so different from how I was raised. It's so different from my journey that I found it extremely fascinating to hear your life.
Yeah, you would, in the beginning, a lot say that my life was colorful.
Oh my God.
And I really appreciated that you used such a nice word to describe my life. Because you're right, it is colorful, and sometimes the colors were not vibrant and they weren't pretty, but they were colors. And being raised in a family where my dad, hence the name of the podcast, Crackhead's Daughter, was an addict. Had a mom who really did her best at balancing life and instilling a lot of who I am in me as a young woman, as a child, in spite of the environment sometimes that was present in my life. So shout out to my moms, and shout out to my dad.
Yeah, I was about to say, shout out to him too.
Yeah, shout out to my dad.
Yeah, big part of this.
Yeah, he's a big part of why I don't allow the excuses to kind of take over. Right? Because I kind of always use that, like, then my kids get so tired of it, and I'm pretty sure you get tired of it too. If I was raised by a crackhead and I
know. ... I know.
So
I didn't even know, to be honest, baby. I didn't even know how to put context to that when you first told me.
Right.
Right. So so when Joe and I were dating, and she first started to unveil some of her life, I gotta be honest, y'all. When she was starting to unveil some of these stories, and she spoon fed me a little bit, because I don't know if she knew I was ready for all of it.
Right.
But even the small pieces of it, right, in terms of the life of a crackhead's daughter or a little girl who's running the streets trying to find out where her dad is, how that could be impactful even in a relationship with a man?
Well, we always drove the streets.
Okay.
We didn't run. We got in the car with our mom.
There's a distinction.
And we, meaning this is my life and my sister's life too, which we will have them. We will have them.
Yeah.
But we did get in the car. My mother did pretend like she was the police. She had a fake badge, and it was made of aluminum foil.
Yeah.
If you flip it real quick, to go get your car back from the dope boy, he doesn't know. He's scared because my dad would steal the car. He would take the car. He would sell the car for drugs. He would sell lots of things. Yeah. He would take my bike. I don't really know if you steal a bike that you bought for your child. I guess you take it back.
Yeah, you just take it back. But you just use it.
But using it would mean you would bring it back.
Oh, but never came back.
Yeah, but run the streets, I just want to clarify. My mother was very present. She didn't allow me to run the streets. What she did was, hey, she's gangster.
She is.
She's gangster.
Gangster, trooper, soldier.
Yeah, blonde hair, blue eyes, but I'm pulling up to the dope boy's house and I need my car back right now.
Yeah. So
we would sometimes be involved in those high-speed car chases.
Hey, the one, the detail in that was that you guys had another car to go get the other car.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Georgina wasn't.
You know what I mean?
She was going to get a car. She was getting another car.
Did y'all ever fill up before you made that trek?
She stayed already. Like on full. She had to stay on full because you never know what's going to happen.
Stay on full, yeah.
Yeah. So it was either getting in the car with her or it was being dropped off at Oma's house or Grandma Thiela's house to, make sure that, we were safe. But some crazy times.
Crazy times. So one of the things, and again, guys, my wife was sharing her heart and her journey because she wanted me to have a full backdrop. So as she saw our relationship was getting closer and closer and our bond was getting tighter, she was just like, I probably need to start to unveil who I am, where I've come from, how that shaped who I am as a person, my view on life. And so I remember having a conversation one night, and babe, we said we'd be completely transparent, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I remember one night, Joe and I were having some issues.
Oh, having some issues.
We were having some issues. I wasn't gonna go anywhere else. But
what were we having?
Dinner. I'm not being the witness here. So she invited me out to dinner. And I remember it was Texas, I believe it was Texas Longhorn or some kind of steakhouse.
We've never been there again, so I don't know.
So I drove 40 minutes out to meet you.
It was the closest restaurant to my house.
Correct.
And it was just going to be a quick conversation.
Yeah. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, with her beautiful green eyes and all the little wavy hair and her pretty smile with perfect teeth, I said, I don't want you to have me drive out to dinner for you to break up with me. And she promised. She was like, no, I
didn't promise. I just said I needed.
So maybe in my mind she promised me. Maybe I was hopeful. Right. I was wishful thinking, thinking that. But anyway, I drive out there and I'm sitting down and she's starting to tell me all of the issues, right, that's going to prevent her from having this relationship with me because of the dynamic in our relationship and, all of that.
And I'm 37.
And you're 37,
37, 38 years old. This isn't like...
That's important. That's an important point, right? Because you're not like in your 20s. Right. Like you're a grown woman. You lived a lot of life at that point. So, but I remember that distinctly that night. This is when it really hit me. She said to me, I don't know if I'm ready for this kind of relationship because I've got some real dad issues. I've got some daddy issues that I haven't fully healed from, and I haven't fully gotten resolved or release from. And again, I didn't know how to put context to that. I didn't know how to feel about that because I had no idea what that world looked like, what that world felt like, or how the impact would be on my soon-to-be wife.
Right.
But I think that's when I really finally realized how serious it was to grow up as a daughter of a crackhead or someone with an addiction.
An addict,
right? and I had to listen to her because I started to then realize, oh, this is really impactful. It's really shaped who she is, and now it's shaping how she views relationships with men. So I don't know, babe. That was my my aha moment, I guess, when I first realized I need to understand the heart of a woman or of an individual who has come from an addictive environment and who's had a parent coming out of addiction.
Yeah, and I think the next thing that happened from that conversation was you asked me, do you want to heal? And that was a big moment for me because I'd been to therapy, I'd been in relationships, you know, raising children, you know, done all the things to start the journey. But I think sometimes your healing is minimized by your hurt when it's time to start applying what you've learned. You're like, wait a minute, I haven't healed enough because I knew that the relationship was getting serious and I knew that you were everything that I'd prayed for. And so I needed a timeout because the other thing was I had this contract with God that I was going to be single for a year, and I think you came in on month 9 or 10.
I got in early.
Yeah, you got in early, like the early release ticket. And so the other thing is I just didn't want to ever be misleading. I didn't want you to ever feel like I had it figured out.
You kept it a buck. You kept it 100 with me every time.
Yeah, I was like, listen, I'm damaged. Now, if you want to come along for the journey of healing and of, you know, reclaiming some of my life back, then that's what's up. We can do this. But, however, you were just so mature and you had been through so much yourself. And you had a healthy marriage prior. And those things, although I knew that you really cared about me, I wouldn't say they were intimidating. I would just say that they were, you know, those were some expectations that were silently placed on me.
That, you know, it's funny you say, it's funny you say that because when you were fully transparent and vulnerable with me, I said to myself, because I cared for you, whether we had a relationship or not, right, in terms of being a couple, anything romantic, I was at a place where, because of what I had been through, I had so much compassion. Even though I didn't understand it.
You did.
Right?
You did.
And so I was like, yo, this woman really she needs some help, man. You know what I mean? Like,
just helping how to love.
I said, she really is saying, like, because if you think about it, you didn't have to say that to me. You didn't have to divulge any of that.
No.
You
because you would have never met my dad.
So I was like, yo, who is this woman who has been through this and is willing to share this with me? And I just walk away and not help. So I made up my mind then. I was like, she's going to be a friend to me regardless of whether we have a relationship or not. So I just want to help. Right? Now, if I'm being completely honest, it didn't help that when I looked across the table, I saw in my mind the future love of my life. I was like, okay, that's going to be my wife. She's it. I'm not going any further than this. This is where I'm going to be. But I was willing to slow walk it because I was dealing with a crackhead's daughter. I'll just say that.
Now, isn't this funny how isn't this funny how when you finally did talk to my dad, you were like, there's no way.
There's no way.
He's not a crackhead.
No.
Like, crackheads are like stereotypically portrayed as these people who are not intelligent, who have no sense of God, and newsflash, went to Bible school, had his own church, was raised in the church, knows the word of God, had a wonderful conversation. One of the reasons that I was so attracted to you from the beginning was because you speak a lot like my father.
And I take that as a compliment. Yeah,
because he is just that good.
He's amazing. He's great. See, I want you guys to imagine if Barack Obama got sick and needed a substitute for speech.
Yeah, for sure.
He might be the first person. I mean,
for sure.
Jolena's dad, maybe the first person that should get a call.
Mike Green.
Because we talk about people being articulate. It's not about being articulate. It's about being very concise and pointing at what you're saying. Like, you could say 5 words and they have a lot of impact versus somebody just rattling off at the mouth and saying nothing. And so Mr. Green, Mr. Mike, as soon as I got on the phone with him, I immediately was drawn into him in a conversation with a man I had just met.
Yeah.
And I had the context of knowing that
he was an addict.
So it blew my mind.
Yeah. So. And I guess that may also be the reason that, I guess thinking about it, that I am able to appreciate the life that I've learned from and now I am benefiting from, the wisdom along the way.
Yeah.
I don't really think I'd want it any different now that I'm older.
Yeah.
Now, when I was younger, for sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted a normal upbringing, a normal dad. Yeah. I wanted a mom who was happy and was loved.
And I wanted that for you.
Right. And it comes, there are moments where it definitely rears its ugly head, But we're here today because through life's journey and through really getting to know God, really, really, really getting to know Him, being reborn, reshaped. The fact that, yes, I am a crackhead's daughter, but I'm also the daughter of the Most High. And how He can do anything. And how, my mom used to always say, be careful, because you never know what you're going to go through. You never know what you're going to go through. And I feel like that is what I take with me every day. Be careful, because I've seen what addiction does to a family. I've seen what, even, I have friends that have had lots of things in life and who have, climbed very large mountains and have fallen. I have myself, been through periods of life and spaces in life where things were great and then, wow, they crash all around me. I'm currently living in a space that I find great joy in life and love.
That's right.
You do a great job. And then I also look around and I see devastation in my own personal life. So it's just a wonderful thing to be able to say through it all, through it all, in it all, in spite of it all. I rest in the bosom of the Most High.
Yeah, we often refer to God as a good father. And good is a term that's relevant to, or relative, should I say, to a lot of people. What does good really mean? What does good look like? But what it is in one word for me, it's consistency. So in spite of it all, regardless of it all, right, he's consistently there. Right?
Never failing.
Never failing. Right? Consistently never failing, consistently there, consistently on our side, right? Consistently understanding, ready to hear. So for me, I look at the journey, right? I look at the backdrop of your life. I look at how that then launched Crackhead's Daughter in your spirit before the concept of a podcast was even discussed.
Yeah, because they don't know, but you definitely know. I don't want to do this.
I know.
This isn't, I'm starting to really appreciate hearing my own voice, right? I really am starting to appreciate hearing my own voice. However, what's coming out of the voice, the words, the stories, the things, I just wasn't, and I'm still not. I woke up today and said, I don't think so.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Right. So when you hear your voice, and meaning when you start to recollect the stories of your childhood and your teenage years and your young adult years, right? This journey, right, of this element of your life, right, that you have so many mixed emotions about.
I do.
How do you react? So when you do that recollection of, let's say, a story when you were 13, for example, I mean, just whatever. How do you respond now, right, that you're, and I won't say your age. But
I'm happy to be almost 42.
So, okay, so how do you respond at 41 to that same story when you think about it? Right? How do you react to that now?
I'm very grateful, you know, and I think I look at it different. Of course, you're not going to see things at 41, almost 42, the same way you see them at 13.
Right.
The hurt, the pain, the things, they're still there. And I think what people don't realize is sometimes when you get older and you think back on your childhood, you realize how much you were cheated. I'm not going to paint rainbows and unicorns for people. I was cheated out of a childhood with my father. My mother, as much as she tried, as much as she wanted to be my everything, she couldn't. Right. And so, it's tough. And I dealt with the same thing. I was a single mother of 3 kids. So, but I was cheated out. So how do I look at it? I look at it now, though, on today.
As on today.
On today.
So,
just like the church, the saints.
I was about
when
to
they
say
on Sunday.
Church announcements.
Church announcements. You can take the girl out of the church, but you cannot take the church out of the girl. But this morning when I woke up and I knew that this was happening, I am grateful for the stories. I'm grateful for the experiences, no matter how good or great or bad or horrible. Because they are here for me to share with somebody who is going through it right now, or with some mother or father who needs deliverance.
So, and I remember us talking, so whether it was pillow talk or right before prayer or whether it was at night, you know, over dinner, I remember hearing stories about the good times, right? So they weren't all bad.
No.
There were some pleasant memories in there.
Oh, yeah.
How do you balance that today? Because part of that will come into when you interview your sisters too, right? They're different experiences.
Yes.
But how do you balance that, right, with all of the not so good, not so happy memories, right? Is it those not so good memories overshadow the good, or can you highlight some of the good and how it still has impact on you?
I think it's a choice.
Okay.
I think it's a choice, and I currently am choosing joy.
Okay.
I'm choosing to see the good things and leave the not so good things. And I am okay now. I'm okay. And there are some moments with other things in life that, being a crackhead's daughter, you know, definitely, there are bigger things in life now. There are more hurts and more pains and things that are not so great. This is just a part of God's plan for my life. You know, if you really believe that you have a purpose and that He knew you before He even created you, you know that these things were important for the biggest purpose, which is making sure that every person you meet understands that there's redemption and that there's salvation and that there is, you know, above all, love from the ultimate Father. So I don't feel like I can't ever have complete joy because of my childhood. Or
I love that.
And it went into my teenage years, you know. So
I feel like, and we can cut this out if we need to, but I feel like we may be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the other personas, people that God brought into your life. Not as replacement for Mike, your dad, but as a balance to it, right? And so without calling his name, at one point, a season in your life, right, God brought another person, another man into your life.
Yeah, when I was an adult, Grandpa Jake,
okay.
You know, he was the...
Shout out, Grandpa Jake. That's my man. OG, Silverback. If he sees this, he'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think Grandpa Jake showed me what consistency looked like.
Yep.
And what, my father was really good at, which was talking. Mm-hmm. Grandpa Jake was good at doing.
Yeah.
And, my dad sucked at doing.
Yeah.
He did a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And I said the word sucked because that's how I feel about it.
He did.
Yeah, he sucked. He did. But Jake really showed me what a father looked like. Mm-hmm. I could call Grandpa Jake at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And he would be right there.
Yeah.
I could never find my dad at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
If life depended on it.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm so grateful. And that's what I mean by keep going.
Yeah.
Wait. Just wait for life. Just wait.
Yeah.
For it to show up for you sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes we don't show up for life. Sometimes we cannot do anything other than get out of the bed and just sit. But life will show up.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful for, not only for me, for the guy that Grandpa Jake ended up being in my life, but for that redeeming love for my mom.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
Beautiful girl, but so redeeming or redemption was the other thing I thought about with Grandpa Jake in terms of him redeeming you unto himself, even though you weren't his natural born daughter. Right? He saw a little girl who.
Well, I was an adult.
I'm saying.
Oh yeah, he saw the little girl.
He saw the little girl.
He did.
In you that needed redemption, that needed a good father figure, that needed a consistent man.
Yeah.
To redeem her, and so that's number one. I think the other thing is, many times, and I'll give a shout out to all the fathers who may see this. Sometimes we don't get enough thought or process or consideration around the sacrifices that we make, right? To be Jolena and to be a little girl, teenager, grown woman who at various points had never seen a man truly sacrifice and put her before himself.
Oh yeah, never.
Right?
Never that.
Right, so that's the other thing when you talk about having a father who is addicted, right, or not a good father. You never really saw the man that was raising you put you before himself. And I think, can you just talk about that a little bit? Like, what that mean to have someone that was selfish and not selfless as it relates to you?
Oh yeah, you don't know that that's not right until later on in life. You have a few relationships, and then you get therapy, or then you have a daughter and you are telling her all the things not to accept, and you're realizing that you're reading down your list of things that you are accepting. Yeah. And so what it looks like, and then when you finally marry someone who is selfless and who is not selfish and who puts you before them. Yeah. When I married you, there were so many days where I thought you were just going to leave, because of my emotional moments of distress, doubt. You know what I mean? There were in the beginning. There were lots of times when I said, if you want to leave, I understand.
Right.
Just because there was just so much hurt still there. As much as I loved you, as much as you loved me, I was still in the thought of people love each other, but they don't serve the other person in love. Yeah. Right? Or they're not there, they're not supportive in love. Yeah. So what did that look like? Wow. It looked a lot like I was very appreciative of having someone like my stepdad, having someone like you to finally show me what a healthy relationship looked like.
Yeah. And that's why I got my graduate degree.
You did.
From Silverback University recently. Yeah. We can maybe talk about that another episode. But here's the other thing.
And neither one of you are perfect.
No.
That's the beauty in it.
We didn't have to be perfect.
Right. And that's the thing that I want people to understand. There's not, in this journey of this podcast and of sharing life with people, and why I even named it Crackhead's Daughter, is because life's journey, no matter the origin, whoever you started out as, doesn't mean you have to stay that person.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you're an imposter. It doesn't mean that you're fake. It means evolution takes place. We evolve as people spiritually. And if you choose to go along the path with Christ as your Lord and Savior, and as the person who is leading you and guiding you and directing you, He is going to place people in your path along the way that are going to help you see Him. Yeah. And, you know, people don't have to be perfect. Yeah. You don't have to be perfect. No. You just have to trust in the process. Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, too, a good friend of mine said to me one time, it's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. Right? Yep. And that is the pursuit of better. Right? Like pursuit of happiness, right? The pursuit of being more consistent, right? The pursuit of being a better steward over someone's heart. Yeah. Right? The pursuit of being more gracious and having more grace. And I say that to say this. One of the things that I had to learn with Jolena in our relationship early on, because I cared about it and I wanted to see her better, I wanted to see her heal, right? And I was open to counseling and other things, other tools that we use to make us better, was the concept and the application of grace. Shout out, right?
No, I said shopping.
Oh, shopping.
Those are some other tools that made us better.
Right, that was therapy. Right.
Vacation.
Yeah, it was a shock to my system, but it was therapy for her.
I'm healed.
I know.
I'm sorry.
But I think the whole grace aspect of it, right?
Oh, God, I didn't know what grace was.
You know what I mean?
I knew what punishment was. I knew that part.
So I had to learn that, like my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was dealing with a sense of rejection too. Right? Because she had been rejected in some way, right? As a daughter.
Well, and always.
Yeah, by a crackhead father. There's rejection there because to your point, you have been robbed. Right. Of certain things that a father and a daughter should have. Oh, yeah. But so I was dealing with the aftermath of that, but also trying to say, but she needs the grace, she needs the time, right? Yeah. And the patience. Yeah. Right? For us to be healthy and for her to get through that, I'm gonna have to give her some time and be patient with her and be supportive of the journey, not realizing that the journey was so long.
And I think sometimes too, it's not even so much of, you know, the journey of healing of being a crackhead's daughter. I think it's just the fact that, listen guys, there's a space in life that when people betray you, no matter who they are or what, they may not have an addiction problem, they may have no issue whatsoever to the human eye, but the spirit stuff, man, it's real. And people have these issues, and I feel like some things do just take time. Yeah. And now we're going on 4 years.
I know, but is the person worth giving them the time?
And here's, for me, and
that's the question, right?
They are, if the answer to do you want to heal is yes. Yeah. And for me, you know, we talk about this all the time. And there are women that I help. There are women that I counsel. I don't have a degree in counseling. It's not my profession, but I do have.
You got the heavenly degree.
Yeah, I have some things going on where I have some women in my life who I give lots of advice to, and I tell them, I don't know your journey. I don't know exactly what it's going to take for you to whatever. But for me, it has been my relationship with God. Yeah. That's just what it is. Yeah. Because I cannot pull from myself and expect to be this person that I'm evolving into, to change because of the advice that I'm giving myself. Like that doesn't work for me. Yeah. So my relationship, and I think now back again to why I've decided to do this and why I'm here and what it means and what I hope to accomplish. I just want people to understand and realize that you probably don't have what it takes to heal on your own. You probably don't. Yeah. You can try that. Yeah. And if it works for you, then please. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. But
can I just, So maybe a person has the ability, at least they think, to heal on their own, but is that healing sustained?
Right.
How long does it last?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you now, if you think that you're good for a day or for a week, at some point, you're going to find out quickly you need a supporting cast around you. You're going to need things to go back to say, if I do not have these right people around me in my inner circle,
well, at least
I'm going to revert back to some of it in terms of the hurt, the pain, the thoughts of it. Not that it will be completely gone, but you kind of wanted to start to carve away the extreme emotion, the extreme feeling you have.
And from you need God. You do. You need Jesus.
Absolutely.
That's just so for me. That's what I mean is.
The only reason you got rid of that firecracker, that explosiveness, was because of God. Yeah. Right? I watched you go from the point of saying, I got daddy issues, and this is probably not going to be good for you, to praying and reading and meditating and fasting on and getting therapy, right? To a place now where you have joy on a regular basis in spite of. Right. Right, and you have celebrated where you've come from, right, and appreciate where you are. Yeah. To the point where, like, we don't even have issues anymore. Right. Right, to the extent that we did, because you see things very differently. Yeah, I see them as a fleeting moment. Emotions are visitors; they come and they go. Acknowledge them, and then, hey, we got to pack your stuff up. It's time for you to go. I know. Whatever that emotion that I'm feeling at the moment is, I also believe while being the child of an addict and living in that codependent environment, I was addicted to not having joy. I was addicted to solving. So it had become the norm for you not to have joy. Oh yeah. Not because you were in constant state of chaos. Well, constant state of whatever you have is going to be ripped away. Yes. Okay. So it's really. You didn't believe in a lot. Right. Yeah. In terms of positive things. Oh yeah, no, because it is. I just told someone this last night that it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And when you think that when you're healed, you think that when you're good, but when you are not, and when you are sick, you say to yourself, it's better to not have joy and have it stripped away than to have joy and have it stripped away. So I'd rather not. And so you just stay in this constant state of, defending, not defending, but putting this wall up. Yeah, and even accepting that this is the norm, right? This is the way it's going to be for me. There's nothing better or different. Right. Man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not there anymore. I am too. Right. But I think there are a lot of people that probably are. Right. Right. At various degrees, right? Right. It's crazy, babe. Here's the thing. And I don't know how much longer you want to go, but because we could talk for hours. Yeah, but we're not. But I know. If y'all don't know this by now, we talk forever. Well, we had a long distance relationship for an entire year. Man, do you want to talk about that for a little bit? Maybe another time. Maybe another time? Yeah. Not tonight? No? You want to do that tonight? We did, yeah. So Georgia to Virginia for 1 year. So we did a lot of talking on the phone. A lot of kind of researching each other's souls. I know. So important. Communication is key. Communication is key, and acceptance of how that person communicates. I think that's important. I think understanding that everyone doesn't communicate the same. Yeah. But their heart can be in the same place is important. Would you think like if we are constantly yelling at each other? No. That's not right. No. It's not how we should communicate. No, right? No. But I think if a person isn't ready or able to, just lay everything out on the table, understanding that eventually one day they'll feel safe with you or trust. I wasn't as trusting as maybe, someone who hadn't been in my situation was. So, but we'll definitely get into
our relationship, our marriage. I mean, that in and of itself is an entire.
Oh man.
That's a library of episodes.
Yeah, but it's a thing of beauty.
It is.
Now.
It is.
So
I can't give up.
What, babe? So what do you want to wrap up and do you want to leave? Like kind of lead out with something?
Oh, I thought you meant leave, as in leave who?
No.
Because you know you can't go nowhere.
That doesn't exist in our vocabulary.
Ain't no leaving.
No, Listen,
if you leave, you got to take me with you.
What? Man, let me tell you.
I think our last argument, we're not even going to say what it was about, when it was, or what it was.
No, we don't need to go
into all
so
that's
that.
not
Yeah.
I'm sorry you thought that was... I'm sorry you thought that's what I meant.
Look,
ain't no leaving.
Ain't no leaving. She told me that is not even a choice for you.
I said, I'm not even going to look at you when you say this.
Yeah. Listen, this woman told me, she said, you could be mad, you could be disappointed, you can feel whatever you want to feel. Like, you deal with that. But one thing you will not have a thought about, and you will get it out of your mind, take it out of your mouth, you're not leaving.
Yeah, we're not leaving.
There is not an option.
Yeah.
And so I almost felt like...
hostage.
Man, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, how did you just take that choice from me?
Yeah. I mean, you got to pray through some things. Everything is not fixable. Everything, but
but...
There are just things in life as a married couple, and again, we will get to that on future episodes.
I know.
We're rich in content when it comes to marriage, when it comes to personality differences, when it comes to changes, blended families,
all that.
We got married during the height
of
COVID-19.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's that.
Yeah. So we got locked in.
We were not living in the same. We were not living in the same state
for over
COVID,
a year.
Yeah.
And then
he had to live with a crackhead's daughter.
Man, I had
and
no
her
idea.
Kids too, and my kids.
Crackhead grandkids.
Yeah. No, not the grandkids. My kids.
Joking.
I'm talking about my kids.
The grandkids of crackhead.
Oh, they were. That's right. See, and he's. This is also why I keep him around, because he's pretty smart.
I'm just saying, it was a generational thing. No.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it was good times. We learned a lot about each other.
Oh my gosh, we had a blast.
What we didn't like, we figured it out real quick.
Yeah.
Right, when you couldn't go nowhere.
We were rebels because we did travel.
Oh man, no, we did do that.
We ended up traveling all the way to Florida. Do you not remember that?
I know. People are like, what is COVID?
They're like, ain't no COVID down here. We were like, it's time to go back to
We
Virginia.
got the ocean and the sand. What's COVID?
But praise God, we did not get COVID from that. We didn't.
No, we didn't.
That wasn't the reason. That wasn't when we got COVID.
Right.
I think we ended up getting COVID from, a plane. Yeah. But anyway, so.
All right.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate you explaining, going through the purpose of this.
Yes.
And expressing that my heart in this.
Of course.
Passion project. This is definitely a passion project. It's not about the likes. It's not about the views. It's not about any of that. It's about simply saying, okay, Lord, you know what? You've given me this material for a reason. I didn't know why.
Right.
I was going through what I was going through when I was going through it.
Right.
But all I can do now is glorify you by sharing this with somebody who may benefit from my life's experiences.
The evolution is so real.
Yeah.
But the evolution is so it's going to be a blessing. I think there's so many people, so many women, because you came out on the other side. Yeah. Right. You survived it, and now you're thriving. Yeah. Right. Because of everything that you learned from it. So.
Yeah, I don't feel like it every day.
I know you don't. But it's okay.
When I look back.
Yeah.
Over my life.
Yeah. Come.
Now he can sing, so you can go in and sing the song.
I won't do it tonight.
You got a microphone and everything.
Yeah. Next time.
What are the words to that song though?
Can you plug me into your intro or your outro on your? Maybe can you add me to your music? See, you don't appreciate it that much.
I don't know.
Maybe.
That's
episode 3, 4, maybe.
When I look back over my life.
And I think things over.
No, the other one. The one that Chandler sang the other Sabbath.
I don't know that one.
When I look back over my life.
I don't think that. I don't think
you
I
didn't know that one. So the song that I knew.
When I look back over my life, I don't remember those words.
Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't a song that I.
Chandler just sang it. I said Chandler sang it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Shout out to Chandler.
Shouts out to Chandler for remembering the words and singing it.
Young Fred Hammond.
And had my wife smiling from ear to ear.
Not Chandler Moore.
Yeah.
Minister Chandler.
Hype man over here. So,
anyway, right, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening and looking.
Thanks for having me, baby.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. And this is the time when we want to give a very warm shout out to our sponsor here at Crackheads Daughter. All proceeds go back to the repayment. I'm gonna have to take all those.
Part of the repayment plan too.
Well, there's no repayment plan, but I do want to thank my sponsor. Right. My sponsors, because Rodney is more than one person.
Talk about it.
Yeah, all the sponsors. I want to give a shout out to my friend, my husband, my
travel partner.
Yeah, my everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Say that again. She said my everything.
Next to God, yeah. Yeah, cool. A lot of things.
Yeah.
All right, babe. Well, that's where we're going to leave it.
All right, cool. We're good?
You have anything to say to the people, though? Because you may not, I don't know when the next time
you're not gonna have me back?
I don't know. I've got a list. I've got a lineup of people.
Yeah, so it might be a while.
I'm trying to get everybody on that wants to be, and then blow me up.
Here's the thing. I'll just leave you with this. In everything that Jolena puts out, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna love, you're gonna appreciate the freedom that she now has. And all the steps it took to get there, right? As much as she shares, as much as she's transparent with you, you will appreciate the journey that she shares with you. So I just ask that you continue to pray for her and all of her success, and that she will continue to be obedient to this deep calling, this push from God that's in her heart to even do this.
Yeah.
So again, like she said, it's not about the response or reaction. No, it's about being obedient. I told her the other day, her success in all of this is just doing what God told her to do.
Your blessings wrapped up in your obedience.
It is.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, y'all.
Thanks for watching.